Alright, so I haven't done these videos in a while, but I think they're really important to do. So hi, my name is MJ and I have HSV2, which means genital herpes. Yes, you heard that right. Just like 491 million other people, I have genital herpes, and I choose to personally do videos on it because I find that it raises awareness, and with education, the stigma minimizes. So I felt like I'd take the time to answer some frequently asked questions about HSV2 that I get in this video. The first question I get asked, and the most common one, is how did you find out that you had it? I actually went years not knowing that I had HSV2, and how do I know that for sure? Because I didn't actually have an outbreak until I started testosterone when I started to transition. I'm female to male, a trans man. And the hormones must have triggered like an outbreak, and that's how I first found out. But before that, I had been celibate for years. So I went an extended period without knowing I had it at all, which is why regular STI testing is so important. Another frequently asked question I get is, do you know who gave it to you? I mean, I have an idea, but it would be impossible to zero in on one person because, like I said, I don't know how long I had it. But honestly, even if I did know, I would not hold any resentment, because the fact of the matter is, just like me before, 75 to 90% of people with HSV2 show no symptoms. Unfortunately, even if there are no symptoms, the virus can still shed, and because of that, it can still be passed on. So the odds that somebody knowingly infected me are pretty slim to none. Which brings me to the next topic a lot of people ask me about, and that's about disclosing. Right when I was diagnosed, I put it out in the open. I made a choice to be very public about my HSV2 status. If I was talking to somebody like one-on-one and there was a chance that it was going to go somewhere, I always disclosed. But just from the amount of support groups I've joined and what I've seen firsthand, please do not put faith in the fact that people will disclose to you. Not everybody cares about your safety, your health. It's your job to put that first, just like it was my job to. Clearly, I failed in that aspect, but it's important to me that you don't if there's a shot for you to save yourself from that. A lot of people think that they're more protected than they really are. For instance, I went back 7 years past and I disclosed to anybody I had relations with, just so they could get tested, so they could be safe. It was a very scary thing to do, but it was the right thing to do, and when I discuss that, a lot of people are like, well, you had to. No, I did not. It's the right thing to do, just like it's the right thing to do, obviously, before you're intimate with somebody to disclose. But not everybody is a good person. You can't rely on that. A lot of people say, well, if it was transmitted to me, I could just bring them to court. It would be a civil suit, and very rarely do people win those when it comes to HSV2. Gotta protect yourself, please, I'm telling you. I get asked a lot, how do I manage my symptoms now? If my outbreaks are back-to-back, that can be triggered by stress, hormonal changes, then I'll just go on antivirals, which is usually Valtrex. But typically speaking, not always, typically speaking, the first outbreak is the absolute worst. Subsequent ones, they can still be painful, but they're likely not going to be as inflammatory and, symptomatic as the first outbreak. Obviously, that's not true for everybody. That's just, kind of a consensus amongst most patients, I guess, from what I've read and experienced. Because I have a biological kid, a lot of people, primarily moms who might be HSV2 positive themselves who are about to give birth, ask me about how it impacted, the birthing process. I didn't even know I had it back then. I had no idea, and it did not impact, the process at all. But definitely I would speak to your OBGYN, because I am not in any way, I can't give advice on that. I'm just above my pay grade. People often ask how it affected my dating life. Honestly, not at all. Before I met my husband, I made a choice not to be intimate with anybody. However, I had the option to. I decided not to. But I talked to several people, got to know several people, went on dates during that time, and literally, I think out of everybody I spoke to, which was quite a bit, maybe 2, stopped talking to me because of my HSV2 diagnosis. Most people did not care, male or female, they did not care. A lot of people take that as I'm glorifying STIs. Not really, I'm just letting you know that your life isn't over, and that's fine. Which brings me to the last question. A lot of people are curious as, to how my husband handled it and, how it impacts us as a married couple. Well, the answer is not at all. He could care less. He's known that I had HSV2 since the moment we started talking. He knows being intimate with me, there is a possibility for contracting it, and I've made it very clear, if anything ever happens to us, you need to go get tested. Just to be safe. You really should routinely anyways, just to be safe.